Hi!
Hi, friends!
Did I do it right? Can you hear me? Is this turned on? It looks like I did it right. Fingers crossed!
Oh shoot, hold on, Adam, you gotta scoot. We gotta fix ourselves.
Yeah, as long as they can mostly see you.
I'm scooted in.
Oh, I
Scooted in.
no, never mind. Sorry, there's two different screens. My bad.
Yay! Okay, well, y'all, thanks for being here, first of all. It means a whole lot. This is technically Gone Rogue's very first live stream, and I'm, like, doing it, making it happen. So, yeah. So thanks for that. But please do let us know if anything is not working correctly, as in you cannot hear us or things like that. Also, why did Randy's camera all of a sudden just completely change on me? It just like
It's his tech stuff.
yeah, classic tech stuff. All right, well, you can still see Randy there, which is all that matters. So yeah, I'm really excited to share with you all these questions that have already been submitted. So the way things will go tonight, we're going to go around and introduce everyone, just in case for some reason you don't know who these people are. And then we'll answer some questions. We're going to answer the pre-submitted ones first, and then we'll answer some questions in chat. And I think the cast has some questions as well. So first off, tell me who you are, who you played, and I feel like I need to ask a question too.
It's not the same if you don't do it.
I'll ask the question after. So let's start. Let's start with you, Philip. You should start this off here.
Okay. Oh, you have a question, or you're just
tell us
off the intro on me?
No. Tell us who you played. / I mean, obviously, you also ran most of the game. Yeah. And who you are, so they know, just in case they don't know who you are.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Philip Rossi, and I was mostly the GM for this season, and I also played CU3.
Very true.
And all the NPCs.
3!
And
3.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
And everyone else.
This is true, you should play everyone.
And Jim and Steve.
And Debbie.
And all the cats.
Yeah, all the cats.
All the cats.
What?
Oh my goodness. Frankenstein.
Yeah. Okay,
Seinfeld.
the cats were great. I loved the cats. Thank you, Ari, to her addition to the cats. Okay, so my question is, and I don't really know how to ask this one of you, but like, we'll get into everyone a little bit about what I know and what Philip knows and what we knew going into it. But in this instance, I'm asking you, Philip, did you have any expectation for that before? Because I don't think I told you. Maybe I did, I can't remember.
Well, my expectation, I knew we could talk about everything here, right? We don't have to not spoil. Assume that everyone has seen the entire season is what I mean.
Yes, that is a very good point. So I would like to actually take a moment, at this point, because you said all this. The show itself, we consider to be rated R, just in the content that we deal with, and language and things like that. So just know that is what you're walking into, and the show is adventure, fantasy, violence, horror, all of those kinds of things are encompassed here. So those are some of the topics we'll be talking about. In as far as what we can talk about, I don't know, Philip maybe, but I don't know that the rest of y'all, I don't know that any of you really have information that can be spoiled here, except at the end of tonight, we will let you know what the what season 3 is going to be, and what chapter 3 is going to be, at least the title.
Okay.
Which should be fun. So does that answer your question for you?
Yes, I can talk about the entire season as a whole, and I won't ruin anything.
No,
or if I would ruin something for you, pause now. Just pause now. Come back to us at a later time, stuff could get ruined.
Stop here. Yeah.
Stop here. I'm gonna leave a pregnant pause for you to leave.
But like and comment and subscribe.
All right. Now, assuming you've seen everything, or you've stopped and now you're coming back. Hello. So what I assumed is that since I knew we were gonna wind up in space, I assumed that that we would get down to Earth somehow. But the how of that is not what I expected at all. And I don't think I really expected like what happened on the space station to happen at all. I don't know what you were gonna do. I guess I was so stressed out about my half of it that I just gave nary a thought. Dude, I think it was like 3 days before we started shooting, and I was like, oh, I need to make a character. I was building everything, and I was like, I really should build a character for the bit that I need to play.
That was 3 days before shooting?
I think it was during tech.
Oh yeah, you sat down with Jordan.
Yeah, I sat down with Jordan and I was like, so Jordan, last night I built this character, does this work? And I think Jordan said, I talked to Jordan because I wanted to keep some mystery alive for Meghan. So I was like, I'm just not going to tell you who I'm playing. And she said, okay. And I told Jordan because he was like our go-between, I guess. Jordan was our go-between. And I said, this is what I'm playing. And Jordan said, yeah, I think you should don't make this. Yeah. Just gonna mess her up. So I told her. So that was like definitely less than 6 days before we started shooting.
Yeah, it wasn't for very long. Yeah. That's so funny. Awesome. Thank you. Let's go.
Hope that answered the question that you asked me 10 minutes ago.
I believe that it did, yes. Randy, introduce yourself. Who did you play? And did you expect where it all went?
So hey, I'm Randy Alvarenga. I played our lovable hacker. Lovable is in quotes. I don't know. You could love him, you might not. I don't know. But yeah, and did I expect sort of where things were going? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, I got on the bullet train and I knew one thing, which is that like having the loyal hindrance, like my character wanted to try to help 3, and that was like, I need to do something, which meant I ran in there and had no idea if I was going to die instantly or what. And it could have gone that way and I would have been totally fine, but I was like, this is what he would do. And then the part that surprised me the most was like the next scene. Like Rossi's like, you wake up and you're up here in space. And I was like, I kind of didn't even really understand what was happening. That's how much, like, how jarring it was. Like, I went and looked through the window and saw 3's body, like, float and hit it. And, like, I was like, is this what I think it is? Is it space? Is this, like, a vat or something? Like, I wasn't quite sure for myself.
Yeah.
And then, like, I remember we went to lunch right after that scene. And the whole lunch, I was just like sitting there eating my sandwich, like really silently. Like, I remember Adam came over and was like, "Hey, so are you still alive?" And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, "That's a good answer."
It's hard to answer, yeah.
So I don't think so. No, but I like where it went.
That's so funny. Awesome. Thank you. Let's hop over to Adam. Same thing. Tell us who you are, who you played. What'd you think? Is that what you expected?
Yeah. Hello, friends. I'm Adam Kahn, and I played the most unassuming cat guy lover ever, Ocelot. I had no clue, and I think it's very prevalent with even when we all came back when you had taken over, Meghan. Adam and Ocelot felt very lost. He's just like, I don't know what I can do here. Like, this was far out of the realm of anything that he could have ever imagined, anything that I imagined. I thought it was awesome, having a twist such as that, and then how we ended up getting back down to the ground was that was fun. That was a hell of a lot of fun. I had so much fun getting this revelation, and then and then just realizing where we ended up at was just really, really cool. It was something totally different from what we did in season 1 into this, and yeah, it was wild. Didn't expect anything. Didn't expect anything except that I got to grow out my mustache into a goatee now, so it's all good. Still got my shirt too, and I still haven't washed it since the last time we wore it.
Oh no!
Oh boy. Thank you. And last but not least, Diana. Same thing. Tell us who you are, who you played. Is that what you expected?
Hi everyone, I'm Diana Restrepo. I played Edge, the dual-wielding pistol shooter who gets annoyed very easily and is very protective of her sister. No, I did not expect that. And when we were there, I was like, literally in my head going, what the fuck? Why space? I just didn't. I thought we're going to like some like facility and they're gonna put us in jail, or we're gonna be like lab rats now going into the bullet train. No, space was not even on my mind. No.
That's so funny. Awesome. Well, thank you. And I am Meghan Caves. I don't know. I played Cat. I am. This is as far as I've gotten. I played Cat, who was the also dual wielding but swords instead of guns, twin to Edge, sometimes slight maniac, only a little in a car mostly.
And driving.
Yes.
Oh, geez, the driving. Oh my goodness, I'm sure we'll get to that too.
Yeah, I did have fun with that, and GM of the ending. So I suppose in this instance, I did know where we were going. That was one of the things I knew. I did not know much else than that. I mean, I guess I knew a little bit more than y'all. I knew that, but we'll get into some of this a bit more. So I think, unless y'all don't want to for some reason, I think we should answer some questions.
Yeah!
I'm writing down
People want to know stuff. Let's do it.
Sweet. I'm excited. Okay. So, let me type this out here. Let me find my answers. Okay. So first of all, like I said before, we are going to answer questions that were pre-submitted, and then we will answer questions in chat. So I don't have anybody who's keeping track of those questions in chat. So don't ask them yet. Ask them later so that we don't miss them. All right, so first question is from Joe Lucky Vincent, and this is actually a bunch of questions. So the first one, so I feel like we're just going to dive right into everything here. The first one is, how much inside info of the last episode did Philip know about? Was it kept a secret by Meghan? Also, what do Meghan and Philip prefer, being a GM or being a player? And then also asking when the next series is coming. So the first question, how much inside info of the last episode did Philip know about? Go ahead.
No, actually, you should probably tell, because I don't know. Like, now it's just all muddied together now.
So now that you all have seen 2 seasons, because there's kind of been a thematic plan here for me to base things off of. The first season, unintentionally, and again, spoilers. If you haven't seen the first season, I'm about to spoil it for you.
Stop again. This is
right
now.
First season, Coven, is like The Village, the movie The Village, which really was. I came up with the idea, and then I was telling it to Philip, and Philip was like, "So like The Village?" And I went, "Oh, yep." The second season was like The Matrix. So the idea basically that I said was, here's what the first season's gonna be like, here's what the second season, here's what the third season, so on, so on. Through like it kind of started in one way, and then eventually it developed into what it became of Philip GMing the first half of the second season, me GMing the end, and then basically flipping that back and forth. We did the same thing in the first season with me GMing first, Philip at the end. And the reason I did that, because I think somebody, I don't know if somebody asked, well, somebody asked this question later, so I won't answer that right now. But yeah, so I told Philip it's basically the Matrix, and I know where it's gonna end. And there is also an overarching aspect to this that Philip knows about, but no one else does yet. So I won't talk about that.
What? More secret. What?
I'm sorry. You all, I think most of you, except for maybe Randy, have played with me enough, I hope, to know how many secrets my games are about.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying.
I guess
Yeah.
the long and the short of it is that I know about the overarching thing, and I knew where the season had to end, but I didn't really know what Meghan was going to do between when I passed it off to her and like her final 2 episodes, I guess. Final episode.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I knew. I had given Philip some like basic. Here's some themes that I was thinking of. Here's some of this stuff. But for the most part, I really wanted Philip to like get to create whatever game he wanted to create, and not be too overly constrained by like what's in my head. So that was sort of beneficial with the sort of Matrix setting, because it allowed Philip to take that space and really do whatever he wanted with it and be able to treat it in his way.
I think because originally we just said we wanted the second season to be cyberpunk, and there was an option to not to have it be less Matrixy and more cyberpunk in the greater world that we're in. But I just felt like there wasn't a good way to like set it down in the world, the pre-existing world, and still have it feel cyberpunky.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted everyone to enjoy the cyberpunk elements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the best I could do, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, so there were a lot of secrets that we kept between each other. But there were also some things that we did know, and it kind of like changed and shifted. Like, we generally try to keep as many secrets as possible until sort of like we talked about with CU3, until it's like, okay, I think I actually have to have this information, otherwise, I don't know what's gonna happen. So.
And I feel like you didn't really even look at the character sheet, I want to say. Like, I told you what I was playing, but you still never saw the character sheet.
Yeah, I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Some of it was, we're going to talk more about this too, some of it was the way we filmed this. We filmed this whole thing over a 2-day period. So basically, Philip did the entirety of the first half in day 1, and then finished off like Philip's bit before lunch, and then after lunch we came back and did mine. So there was basically about an hour's time in between finishing what we did and me picking it up from there. So it was kind of hard to like figure out how that was going to work. So yeah, maybe next time I'll have a clear, although next time it'll be on you, so I don't know.
Yeah, next time it'll be my problem, so why pick?
Yeah. So yeah, okay. And then what do, this is a question for you and me, Philip. Do we prefer being a GM or being a player more?
I feel like, for me, it's like the grass is always greener, Like,
that's true.
Like, playing is great. I love playing, and obviously you have less responsibility, which is incredible. You're just like, I'll just show up. I'm just gonna show up and like, and I'll be surprised and stuff. But I think if you enjoy, creating that experience for other people, and especially I love world building and stuff, then when like you're playing, you're like, yeah, this is cool. I think I would do this. Like, I would like, I might want to take it here. This gives me an idea for this other thing, So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That.
I think that makes sense. I do think the grass is always greener. I like both, which is why I wanted to do this where I rotated with the GM, because I like to play, but I also like to GM. I also like creating. I have stories I want to tell, and really moods I want to create and communicate. and I enjoy doing that, but there's nothing like getting to play a really cool character in a really cool game. Yeah, it's just it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. So I like both. And then when the next series, yes, I also want the next series to come as soon as possible, but I need a little bit of time to sit and stare at a wall. So I will be doing that for a little bit before we get season or chapter 3 in this instance underway. But yeah, I want it to too. It's just about really how long it takes to produce it, and all these fine folks here have lives as well, things that are happening. So, but as soon as we can is my answer to that. Okay, that I think was that question. Let's go on to the next one. Next question is from Todd Moonbounce. And this says, assuming this was your most recent in-person actual play since the pandemic, what was it like to get back to that? What stood out versus the online format? So I'd say this question is for everybody. I will say that this was my first time getting back to in-person since the pandemic, and it's such a different thing when you're shooting for like 8 hours a day playing an RPG than it is when you're getting to like play it weekly. So it's a little hard to compare, but it is really nice. For me as a GM especially, I feel like I lose a lot of my energetic ability, for lack of a better term, to create a mood, to get something across as, for me as a performer. There's a lot that you can do in a room that is really hard to get across in this little box. And that's true as a player too. And then also you're just like talking on top of each other and stuff so much easier when you're streaming like this than in person. So I really enjoy it, but you have to kind of be like, oh, there's a person like right in my face now, as opposed to a camera that I'm staring at. It's a little weird.
Randy, you go next.
Yeah, whoa, okay. Executive decisions. So I moved back to the U.S. in 2019 from my time in Japan, and so I moved here, and then a pandemic hit like a few months later. So I actually had, this was my first time, because I actually live up here in Seattle, in the Seattle area, which is part of the reason it's a little bit harder for us to all get together as well, because I have to fly down there and everything. But what I will say is it was definitely a different experience in that, like, one, it was so much fun and easier to like ad-lib and like work with the other performers. There wasn't like a weird time where like you guys are over talking each other, or maybe me and Adam sometimes. But, but basically, it was great to have that energy and to be able to feed off that as a performer and to use that in the. But also like what we were doing and the way we shot it was also sort of my first time seeing that. So I was learning stuff from that as well. So I think there are benefits and to doing it virtually. Like, for example, diversity is a big thing that you're able to really bring into a lot of games with people like outside of the LA area, which is, I think, also important. And I'm glad that some of that has happened during the pandemic. But like, yeah, it was night and day. Like, I loved being in person, especially because I think we're all really good friends. And it was just great to hang out with my friends and to tell awesome stories. And so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I'm going to pass it over to Diana.
I was super nervous at first. Like, oh my god, we're going to be in person. I hope I don't mess up. I hope I don't sound like a weirdo. Like, all these like weird like anxiety thoughts, like, oh god, they're gonna think I'm an idiot for saying that. I remember like the first 30 minutes, my hands were sweaty. I was just really nervous. I'm like, okay, when do I talk? Do I talk now? Because you're so used to like kind of waiting for that gap in the internet world to talk, you know, like on Zoom. So in person it was a little bit different. And then once like the 30 minutes were done, like I felt more at ease. This is fun. Yeah, I'm with my friends and you're feeding off each other's energy, and that was that was a lot of fun, and just seeing the emotions like in person again was really nice. It was, and then it also just felt really nice to be next to someone again and interacting with them and improvising with them, and it just felt so natural. But at first, I was super nervous about it.
Yeah, I was nervous too. I was very nervous both those days.
Yeah. Well, you had a lot going on.
Yeah. I was scattered.
Yeah. So, Adam.
Yeah, like just piggybacking what Diana said. Yeah, that first beginning part, and I think we could all feel it too.
Yeah.
It was very weird, but a good weird because we were together, but still weird. In that sense of, there's not that box anymore. When it's and it's totally different when you get to be with each other. I mean, people that play, home games all the time as well too. You get that different sense of energy, and it's a lot easier to play off of one another. And it gets very hard to feel that through this. It's like, see, right now I can't boop Randy on the nose. I really want to, but I can't. But I could do that when we were together, and it was a great feeling. It was really nice, and it was like all of our first experience back after the pandemic, doing it together. And what an awesome show and group to be a part of, getting back into this, all of us together in person. It was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Group hug. Oh, wait, we can't. We
Rossi.
can't. Oh, we can.
Oh yeah, you can.
So we're together.
What about you, Rossi?
I feel like I don't have a lot more to add. I feel like I wasn't nervous about seeing any of you guys in person. I don't know if that's because I'm extroverted in that way, or just because I was so nervous about running it that I didn't have time to be nervous about like the in-person thing. But I just like playing online is great if that's the only way you can do it, but like in person is just so like you just feel the energy. It's just like, I feel like for me, like 3 hours online is like my max. I start to fry.
Yes.
Like looking at a screen is like burning out my eyes. And like we did like 8 hours, and like it was tiring, but like I felt energized. Like at the end of the night, I like came home and I was like amped.
Yeah.
And like when I play like my home game now is still online, and I get done and I'm just like, just the screen like burning a hole in the back of my head. So it was so amazing. And like also like that's only the second time I've seen Randy in person ever.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. Like I feel like I know Randy super well, but it's nice to like just reach over there and touch Randy and make him uncomfortable.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
Oh goodness.
So
awesome.
Great. And also you can help Diana with her die math when you're in person.
This is true! Yeah. I need to be in person.
It is.
I would say one of the cool things was like there weren't like big internet sort of tech issues, but we did end up having sort of different kinds of issues, which was like I was like, oh, I see how different this is now.
Yeah, you still run into other issues, and of course we were doing it on a kind of a skeleton crew, really. I mean, it was Rick, our director of photography, and Jordan, who was there to help, and then us. So there were things that went wrong, and there were things that in post I was like, well, can't go back and fix that, but it's all a learning thing. So it's very hard if you're dealing with tech of any kind to avoid gremlins. It's very hard to avoid gremlins. Yeah. There. They follow you around. It's awful.
They're like cats. Not as sweet as cats, though.
No. Cats are great. Gremlins.
Cats are amazing. I love cats.
But I was like, we all can't be into cats, which is why I made those.
No, that's good.
I mean, that could just be the thing. What?
Sorry.
No, that's
on
okay.
The spot, Randy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, because I had no idea we were going to see
awesome.
the cats. Yeah, I had no idea we were seeing cats, and then, like, I knew Ocelot was going to be into the cats. And then, like, I was like, Megan and Diana might probably be into the cats. And so I was like, oh, yeah, okay, we can go. Let's do this.
That was a great little thing you did on the spot. I applaud you for that. Good choice.
Oh, kitties. Okay. Next question is from David Acosta. So David Acosta says, how was the adjustment from having weekly live sessions of Harbingers when Coven aired to pre-recording several episodes in one go for Eden Redux? So this is kind of a similar question, but we didn't talk about that aspect of it. And I will say I prefer weekly, not necessarily having them live, although that can be fun, but I don't like the tech of being live. It drives me bananas. But I like weekly because it gives you time between a session or an episode to like kind of think about what happened and think about the character and develop the character. Whereas whenever you do it all at once, it's just kind of it's just different. Like it really feels like the difference between a TV show and a movie in a way. Which is not bad, it's just kind of its own thing. So, you know, positives and negatives as far as I see. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I agree on that. I'd rather space it out than do it in 2 days, but we all understand why it has to be done in 2 days, because Randy, unless you move down here, then we can space it out. Anyway,
well, tell us the housing prices in the LA area, because I'm looking.
Seriously.
Yeah, I will say I like it better too, like spaced out. But there is something cool about the way we did it too, though. I will say the hard thing was like letting everything go after 2 days, like putting that much effort and like character into
saying goodbye,
and then being like, oh wow, it's done now.
It's very intense.
Like, I got to live as like Leander a bit longer. It felt like Ghost was like intense, but like you know. What I will say that I did like though was I didn't have to think about, hey, where is this going to end, right? Like that makes it harder for you in the editing stage. But it was really cool to have just sort of this like long sort of extended version where we could just like play and enjoy like multiple stories and just sort of, I don't know, there was something there that was also like enjoyable.
Yeah.
That I liked.
Yeah.
I feel like my anxiety always comes from my schedule. You know, I'm like, I don't know, like, I think it's because I'm an actor, so I don't know what's gonna happen, you know, next week, and my wife's an actor too, so like, any day I could come home from work and be like, actually, we need to stay up till midnight taping a bunch of stuff. So, weekly stuff, fortunately, Harbingers, we shot on Sunday?
Monday, Tuesday.
We shot on Monday.
Tuesday.
No, I mean the first season.
I
can't remember
Tuesday.
anymore.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday, which was stressful, because I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, like, that was, like, for my life, it was nice to just be like, these 2 days I'll block off and we'll do it and I don't have to stress about it. And there was also something really fun about, you know, I started playing role-play games when I was in high school, and there's that thing where you like get together with your friends and you have a bunch of like Mountain Dew and Doritos, and then you play like until 3 a.m. and you play for like 8 hours, and there's something like nostalgic about that we got to do that was super fun. And you don't run into the problems you have for weekly games where you're like, shoot, what happened like in game 5 minutes ago, but like a week ago and I can't remember. Like when you're in it, you're like in it. Like no one, we take a 30-minute lunch or whatever, and it's not like anyone's like, oh shoot, what just happened? What was that character's name? Everyone's like there, which was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Mm-hmm.
But it does sort of feel like eating like a really great meal, and you're like, that's amazing. I'm gonna be hungry in a day, and like that was, I'm gonna have nothing. So,
I think we all left and we're like, I'm not ready for it to end.
It was after the photo shoot when that's when I was like, oh, now we're done.
Yeah, because it was over that course of we shot the stuff Monday, Tuesday, and we had our photo shoot Wednesday, and that was how we wrapped for it. And, I mean, just like you guys all said, weekly is definitely great. Live is fun if you can do it weekly. Live, as we did it as well too, was just as fun. But yeah, you really miss that after being done so quick. It's like anytime, like I always feel that like with theater as well too. Yeah. You take all this time building those sets and stuff, and it's like cool, it's done, and you tear everything down a day, and it's done. Yeah,
it's gone. It's hard.
But we had something really cool to show for it, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
It turned out good. Really good.
Yeah. Did anybody else have any thoughts? Did everybody get to on that question? Good. Okay. All right. Then the next question. Thank you for that, David Acosta. Next question is also from David Acosta, and says, which NPCs do you think you'd get along with if they were present in real life?
Let's go to Randy first.
Yeah.
I would get along with 3 because 3 was cool. No, so I would not have so I'm really awkward. Like when people flirt with me in real life, I'm really awkward too. Like, when that whole thing with Biz happened, I was like, oh, this character is not, which was great for my character to be like that, and made it easy for me to play that. But yeah, I feel like I would not have gotten along with Biz in real life because Biz was kind of smarmy.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I was trying to be nice. No, but 3 is who I would say is the one who really stuck out to me as like, because once he joined the team, he was like really excited. He was optimistic. He was like, oh, well, I'm excited for life and I like, you know, Edge. And I was like, good luck there, bro. But yeah, I wish I could have a drink with 3, you know.
R.I.P.
Oh. Yeah, when you did that, I was really sad. Like I was sad, but it was great.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, thinking about all of the characters, I feel like 3 is like the only one. Maybe some of the cats, but even the cats seemed like jerks. So
This is Grandifel didn't like always, you know, she wasn't happy with people.
There was only one bald cat, and that was who I wanted to be around.
That was
Yes.
his friend.
3's character was the most grounded as a human
Yeah.
in real life, because let's be honest, like all the rest of the characters were so out there.
What's wrong with Scuzz? Scuzz was the
I would love to see Scuzz interact with other people in real life. I don't want to be the one interacting
He's
with
like a
people.
creepy neighbor.
So,
like, you're just like,
this is what I think. I think at some point, Philip, you need to just like get some kind of Scuzz cosplay and go to a convention and just, you know, have conversations with people as Scuzz.
If we ever go to a convention together, that's who I'm dressing up as.
OMG.
Does.
Cat, you heard it first.
Yeah.
Gotta go to a
This
convention.
is being marked down. I'm
just not gonna wash my hair for like a month and just
Ew.
yeah, that'll be perfect. I mean, I'll get kicked out immediately.
Yeah.
3 sentences in, they'll be like, "I'm sorry, sir, you have to."
You can't
talk to people that way.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I feel like all those NPCs were just real. I mean, everyone, even Debbie.
I was gonna say our session 0
No,
with
that
Debbie.
would just she'd be so annoying to talk to.
oh yeah, I want to slap her.
This is a good.
It's like-
This is a good point
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about that.
I was gonna say, I mean, Francis, you know.
I love
Francis would
Francis.
be good.
I would die on a hill for Francis. I'm just gonna say.
Francis was great. I mean, we spent
But
all that money to fix
spent
Francis
all that
up.
money.
Didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Didn't even matter. Thanks, guys.
Oh.
It's all right.
Well,
All that
the
money
money
that
even
Ghost
real.
and Ocelot got for us.
Yeah,
It's
nothing
okay.
was real. Okay.
That's the frustration of the Matrix.
I will say, Scuzz had some funny text messages that I got, and I took them home with me because they were so funny. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I still have them. They're in my book.
The one wasn't one just like a picture of a dick.
Yeah.
It absolutely
Yes.
was. It was a picture of a dick with like stuff, like lines flying out, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I remember you reading that. I think you mentioned it in the stream, and I was like, "Oh, I feel like it was way more graphic than Randy."
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I can't really go.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a lot.
That's a good point, though. Just as an aside, talking about the episode 0, that will be released at some point. Yeah, I just haven't decided on what will make it release. So yeah, we'll see about that. There are a couple things. There are some things that are still going to come out from this, including outtakes, because I have been saving them. I just haven't had a chance to do all that editing.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
the outtakes will be great because again, it's that energy with all of us just flowing and being silly and having fun. I remember like even the beginning of this too is like, cool. This is more of like a grounded, serious setting. We're all like, okay, yeah, okay, serious times. But
I mean, it got serious.
it did get
At the
serious.
end.
That's it.
Yeah.
It did.
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be the danger of having people in person.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, those things, just stay tuned to see about that. All right. Did anyone else have any other thoughts on that? Everybody? Okay. Next question is from Joe Lucky Vincent. And they ask, I'd like to know Philip's inspiration for the setting of Eden Redux, please. What were your influences in creating the city and the setting?
Okay. So we have like a I think before
I'd like
we
to
even
know
started
Philip's
Harbingers,
inspiration for the setting of Eden
Megan asked
Redux,
us like,
please.
what
were your
settings do you
influences?
want to play in? It's going to be in different settings, like, and people were throwing out stuff. And one was cyberpunk, and I was like, oh, interesting. I don't know anything about cyberpunk. I'm excited to see what Megan does with that. And then she was like, all right, I'm going to take this first season. Season 2, Philip, cyberpunk, you're on. And I was like,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So I was like, oh shit. Yeah, so obviously the Matrix. I think like I was saying before, I was really worried that it was gonna get into this like vibe because it was like the Village and the Matrix. It's like nothing is real, so we're not gonna do that anymore. Right, Megan?
What?
Yeah, I mean, everything is real. But I think obviously the Matrix. But I think I just I talked to people who are super into cyberpunk and asked like, what do you love about cyberpunk?
You asked us too.
Yeah. Because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to consume. I love cinema, so I've seen like a lot of cyberpunk-y movies. But I was like, it's too much. I don't have enough time to like immerse myself in cyberpunk. So I want to know like, when you think cyberpunk, like what hits you? Like what do you think? Like this has to be in cyberpunk. And then I sort of worked my way out from there and like filled in the gaps with my own weird ideas.
I think that's cool. That seems like a really cool way to go about it.
It's like if an idiot who had never seen a Western movie was forced to direct one and just walked, he's like, I can't be watching Western movies. I'm just gonna ask other people what's in Western movies and take notes. Like a horse? Okay, so there'll be a horse, it's got a big hat, got it, okay. And guns, like I guess, they're cars. No one said time period, so if there's any mistakes, it's because I didn't do my homework.
Yeah.
I
Well,
actually think you did the homework really well.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like you asked us, you had like I remember that meeting we had where we were like brainstorming ideas for season 2, and not only was it like, hey, what do you think is cyberpunk, but it was specifically like, what are the things that would get you really excited about playing in this setting? And like we were able to throw out ideas and bounce stuff off of each other, and I think you even came to that meeting with like sort of a rough outline of what Eden Redux was so far. Like you were like, these are the things that I do know, and I was like, all right, I've got like this idea. I can like go and play and like let my mind sort of race, because I'd never played in a cyberpunk world either, and it was so. And I think Savage Worlds is a great system for playing in different worlds, which just was so simple to like sort of move it to this from Witches, even though it was kind of mechanically different in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's that, and I think now that you mention it, Randy, yeah, I had like a rough idea of the world, and I brought it to the character building, but I think that's just like a good thing to this thing I'm about to say is a good thing to remember for anybody's game when running a game, is like what your player's character sheets are a blueprint for what they want to do. So like I finished designing the second season after I got everyone's character sheet and looked at it, I was like, and like Adam was like, I've got this droid robot thing, and I was like, that's important now. Like that Lynx needs to be important. Like I wouldn't have put like flying drones, but when Adam says like, I'm investing, what limited capital I have in this thing, like that's important. you know, Randy is like, I'm an expert hacker. All right, hacking is big now. Like, hacking's got to be big. And like, you know, Diana's like, I shoot pistols, and Megan's like, I've got katana and I go crazy, and like I have a drug problem. All right, so like now we have drugs, and now we have like doors, and now we like there needs to be like firefighting. And then Randy was like, I want to have the ability to like fire from a stable moving target. And I was like, there's got to be a car chase, you know, like I think that's how I finished. It's just like, I asked you guys what was important in a cyberpunk setting, and you told me, and then you built a character sheet and you like finished telling me. And I feel like just in the games I run, that's what I try to remember is like, if someone puts it in their character sheet, that means they want it to happen. Like in the first season when Randy was like, I killed this kid. I was like, gotta bring up the fact that Randy killed a kid. Like, clearly he wants to be.
Let's see if we actually did. It said we reconnected.
So it's buffering, yeah.
Oh, back up.
Is it back up? Did?
So it's buffering,
Are we
yeah.
back up, friends?
It looks like we are.
Oh, yeah.
Is it back up? Yeah.
We have to
So
wait for the
I
delay
heard.
to kick through, so they can be like,
Yeah.
no, we can see you.
I heard myself ask if it was back up, so I believe we are good. It was
Okay.
just a momentary delay. Wow, interesting. Oh, okay. Fancy.
Well,
Fancy.
no, I'm good. Perfect.
I feel like
Thank you so
I was gonna say something, but I have no idea. Anyway, yeah.
I was just saying character sheets inform what you should
Oh
do.
yes, I think you are better at that than I am, Philip, because I have a tendency to be like, what is this crazy mood I'm going to create? Okay, here you all are in my crazy mood. Let's go. So yeah, I think it's a really good point and really good advice as well.
Thank you, Eric.
Every
Hi,
once in a
Jerry.
while, something important to say.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Next question. Question number 6 is also from Joe Lucky Vincent. Joe would like to know, Randy, where did you get your glasses?
Etsy. I looked around a lot though. So
Yeah, they're kind of
No.
everywhere, but
they have those glasses, and they have some that have like cyberpunk, like decals and like random like unicorns and stars and happy things decals. And some are better and built better than others because I saw lots of reviews for ones that like were really bad. But I found the ones that I ended up getting, and they were a little bit more expensive than the like sort of cheaper like go to a rave party ones. But I was like, hey, I want to have these, and I just want to play with them. So that's where I got them, Etsy.
cool. Yeah, I've seen those a few times on Etsy, and I'm always like, you just need to find. I almost got them too, but I think it made way more sense for your character to have them. For me, I'd just be like, here are my glasses and my swords. Cool. All right. Next question is from Table Cat Games, and would like to know, Philip, where did you get this super cool silver shirt?
I got that super cool silver shirt online on the Amazon, but I think it was Amazon. It was probably Amazon, because I got a previous shirt that I was like, maybe it's gonna be like a more like, you know, those like Mandarin collars, you know, like collarless. I was like, maybe it's gonna be more of that vibe, and I ordered it, and it was just like, it looked terrible and it didn't fit right, and I was like, okay, I'll go the other direction and like something cool and chrome, and I got it, and I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's like definitely made for Asian men, so the sizing is weird. I was like, as long as I don't stand up, no one has to see like my 2-inch midriff and like no one can see my arms, because it's gonna be. And they said that, they're like, listen, we make these for like, this is like an Asian company we make for Asian men, and everyone was like, yeah, you gotta order up. And I was like, oh, I'll order up enough. Obviously, I'll pump it up a size. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. As long as I stand really stiff.
Perfect.
I think
Don't
it worked
move.
well. It worked well too when you became C3 because it's very metallic, like I would
Yeah, it did.
expect a android to be. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were wearing that shirt the entire time.
Yeah.
And you just like had it undone for your GM stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. He's probably like, I remember thinking this because I was trying to imagine what character you were going to be, and I was like, oh my god, is Biz gonna come hang out with us? At first was what I thought, and I was like, okay, Be prepared. And then the next thing was I met 3 and I was like, oh, okay, so maybe it's 3 that he's going to be playing. And then when 3 died, I was like, now I have no idea what Philip is going to play. And then we came back into the room and you had like lost the suit jacket and it was just that chrome shirt and I was like, Philip's a robot.
Still the pants. Still the
The pants are still there. The pants are still there. But I like it was such a clever way to like bring that character in with just like a subtle like costume change there. I was like, oh man, Philip is a genius. I need to get on his level because you've done it twice now. You've done it twice, and I don't like it.
The first time, I feel like it was just me.
I'm dead the entire time.
Rossi had makeup on underneath that scarf every episode, waiting.
Waiting.
Like I remember the reveal there being surprised too. So
yeah. All the surprises. All right, next question is also from Joe Lucky Vincent, and this is actually a series of questions. So we'll take these one at a time. The first one is for all these are for everybody. The first one is, how long have you all been playing Savage Worlds for? For me, I've been playing it for 6 or 7 years, I think. What about, let's see, Philip, I think you may be the next longest.
I guess, I don't know, I've been playing Savage Worlds since the first time I did Mysterium with Meghan. I don't know when you ran your first mini...
Well, the first one wasn't... Yeah, it was something like that, but the first mini series of it was Rises. It wasn't Savage Worlds. Okay, it wasn't until the second one.
The second one.
With Jessie and Abria and JP. Yeah. So, and that I think was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah. I think like 3 years, but not consistently. Like only when I meet Meghan.
It is I, the Savage Worlds gremlin.
And then me and Diana, it's only been a couple years because our first time with it was when we did Department of Mysteries over on the DAT network back in 2020 when we were in our Harry Potter world.
Yes.
Which was totally. It had its own surprises and scares and pumpkin teeth.
I still can't find that filter anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. The best one.
I'm the newbie. Like I joined this game never having played Savage Worlds, and I remember being really nervous because I met I had done another show on Saving Throw show, and I had like reached out to Meghan to ask some actor questions, just like some general like stuff about like streaming and whatever, and then Meghan came back like a couple months later and was like, hey, I'm putting together this project and I think you might be someone to be in it. And I was like, okay, don't know anything about this game. I know it's really like I know it's your thing, so I trust that you know if it's like something someone can just pick up. I was very nervous. But what I will say is I've been 100% converted. Like I want to play Savage Worlds every time I play like tabletop. Like
that happens. Yeah,
it's so good. I still don't know. I forget things all the time though. So I will say it's part of. I'm still learning. So if you ever see me make a mistake, let me know because there are some times where it can get like kind of confusing. Like raises sometimes confuse me, but like the fun part is the way we play is very story based, and I love that.
Me too. Me too.
Before.
Diana, didn't you play Savage Worlds one time? I feel like at Saving Throw before Department of Mysteries. I think for like a Gremlin. That's Christmas thing.
We did a Christmas thing. We were elves, Santa's elves.
Yeah.
So, was that Savage Worlds?
I think so. I could be wrong.
Well, no. Also, I was gonna say you guys also did Savage Pathfinder as well. Too.
Yeah, we did Savage. Oh yeah, we did Savage Pathfinder.
But Department of Mysteries was before that, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So the next part of this question is, which system or TTRPG is your personal favorite? I mean, I think everybody knows mine is Savage Worlds. It does what I need it to, and much like a lot of people like to just play D&D, I have yet to, especially when I'm GMing, because I don't like learning rules, I know these, so it's really easy for me to sit safely and comfortably here. But I like other systems, but Savage Worlds is my favorite. Who else? Diana, what about you?
I enjoy Savage Worlds a lot because it's very easy and not so crunchy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love Pathfinder because that's my home, but Savage Worlds is very easy. And then we did Blades in the Dark, which was super fun.
I hear
too.
good things about that one.
It's very storytelling as well, and very much role playing, and I really enjoy that aspect. I'm finding more and more, at the beginning when you're playing any type of tabletop RPG game, you're like, oh, I just want to roll dice. I just want to fight, and I just want to, attack and have the most damage. And now I'm like, no, I want to tell a good story. I want to play this awesome character. I'm acting. That's what I want to do when I interact with people. So yeah, I think that my top 3 would be Savage Worlds, Blades in the Dark, and then Pathfinder.
Nice. What about you, Adam? What's your favorite?
I would definitely say because we played Blades over on Norse Foundry a couple months, and Blades in the Dark has creeped up to probably be my favorite system as of right now, just because the very unique mechanics with that one and a lot of the stuff that you're able to do. That has definitely become my favorite one, but I think my top 3 would also be, like Savage Worlds has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a good group. Like our group is really, really good and amazing. Yeah. And Randy and Rossi, who were sexy. And then Pathfinder. I would say Pathfinder 2E. I think that one's not as crunchy as the first one, and the mechanics in that are really, really great. Yeah, I would say those are probably my top 3.
2E has some Savage Worldsy elements to it, which surprised me that I liked. What about you, Randy?
Yeah. So I think Savage Worlds is my favorite. Like whenever someone's like, hey, what's a system that I haven't played that I should play, I always will say Savage Worlds. It's like what I jump to. And I still haven't even played Deadlands, like original Deadlands. So I'm like super pumped to like do that eventually. But beyond that, I mean, D&D is close to my heart just because I like that's where I started playing tabletop games. Like I did, unfortunately, I couldn't play until college, and I kind of like joined a D&D group there. But like, I don't know, I like the fantasy aspect there, and another system would be Tin Candles, which isn't like a full everything system, but Tin Candles is nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know if I'd say it's nice.
I mean,
it's not nice. It's scary.
That's what I love about it, because like there's so much tension like naturally built into the game, right? And you have to tell, like, it is a story that's going to get told regardless of if you want it to or not. And I like that piece.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What about you, Philip?
I mean, I started with D&D, and that's close to my heart, and I think it's the system I have the best mastery over. And I'm like Randy, I love me some fantasy stuff, and that works great for that. But I definitely find like when I've been running, like I just want to make things a little more gritty, like get hard, you're like level 20 and like you're chucking you out of buildings and dragons are breathing fire on you and you're like totally fine. And I'm like, oh, maybe there's something I could do so like when you get hit, like you perform suboptimally. But, like, wouldn't it be cool if like this guard could just like hurl the spear at you, and even if you're like Mr. Hotshot Paladin, like it would have impact? And I just find myself like reinventing Savage Worlds rules to fix my D&D game. So
wow,
that can happen.
There you go. There's something great about some mook being able to walk by Mr. Big Shot on the street, pull out a pistol, shoot at him, and that be a problem, And that's like sometimes it's just not set up that way. Yeah. Like you're high level, someone can shoot a catapult at you, and you're like, whatever. And there is no danger to random passerby. It doesn't matter how high level you are in Savage Worlds. If some dude pulls out a knife and stabs you in the back, you're gonna feel it. And I love that about Savage Worlds. Like
I do too.
It is scary and deadly, and I love that in my role-playing games.
When you had Flex there in the stairs with the shotgun, I was like, I'm gonna die before this is over. Before the show is over. This sucks. Like, what am I gonna do? Make a character, Jordan? Help me! That was my thought too. Yeah, it's way more deadlier in Savage Worlds.
Yeah. Yes.
And the mood for all of us players was the same. Like the entire mood, like we were all like ha 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 jokes, you know.
I know.
Awesome. And then like you went down, and we all just went, whoa, all right. Like I don't know if you could tell that from just watching, but like everything was.
Oh, it sucked the energy out of the room.
Yeah.
Well, all three of you guys, like you, Diana, and Megan, all three of you went down at a certain point with it. I got super lucky. Yeah. I'm very unassuming, and nobody wanted to mess with this guy.
I thought for sure you walked into an elevator of your death in that first instance.
Hey,
I was like, well, there goes Adam.
I had 3 elevators in this whole story. And they only got progressively better.
That's true. They did. All right. Here's the next question. We already kind of answered this, but what was the first TTRPG you ever played? For me, it was D&D 3.5, which was my home for a long time, and I preferred that over everything. I was one of those people for a time until I finally got convinced of Savage Worlds, but it did take me time. When you play it at first, you're kind of like, if you try to play it like you play D&D, you're not gonna have a good time in combat. So yeah. Anyway, Diana, what was your first? I think it was Pathfinder.
Yeah, Pathfinder 1. Yep, that was my first.
Adam, it was the same?
No, actually, my first experience was with 5e. I did maybe 5 or 6 sessions of a game, and then we just, like, the people I was with would just kind of got canceled and stuff.
That's wordplay.
Yeah,
that's classic.
It was before I knew you.
Randy, what about you? What was your first one?
It was D&D. It was 3.5. I was playing. I can tell you exactly my mood because I had heard about D&D. I grew up in the inner city, Washington D.C., and D&D wasn't something that kids in my neighborhood ever talked about or played.
I never knew about it until I moved out here.
Yeah, so I was in college, and it was like one late night. There was a university bulletin, and there were these. Someone was asking for someone, and they were like, "Free pizza," and I was like, "Sign me up."
College things like college legit. I love it.
So I show up, and it's these 3 guys or 4 guys who were all graduate students in the religion department, and I was like, what am I signing myself up to?
Wow.
I will tell you, it was the coolest game, and they were great storytellers, 1, but 2, like the gods and like all of that stuff really played heavily into the season.
Oh yeah.
And like it was so sick, and that's it like hooked me forever. I was going there every night for like 4 years. Because I went and graduated, and then like was in the area a little bit right before moving to Japan. So
that's awesome.
What about you, Philip?
Mine was 3rd edition, which became 3.5.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably like 2001.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm ancient. I'm so old.
How old were you then?
Like 50.
Now he's 100.
Yeah.
He's going 50 years.
Yeah. It was like the true like quintessential like D&D experience. You know, like in my my new friend that I met. So I was like, "What's that cool book you've got?" You know, and it was like in his unfinished basement, and like cats peed on my overnight bag. And you know, just like. But it was perfect. You know, a part of me always is like, how do you play D&D if it's not all night on a Friday night, like freezing in a basement? Like, how else could you play?
Yeah, this makes sense.
In a theater in Los Feliz in California.
Yeah, that's the other way.
With your friends.
Okay, last question here is, what is your favorite Harbingers moment? And this doesn't say Eden Redux, so it could be at all. But I will say, I don't know. This is a hard one because my favorite moment is always like whenever I get to a point like I get to build up as a GM. I get to build up the build up the story, and create secrets. And then I know I'm gonna get to some place where I get to reveal it and see what all the players think and how they react, and I enjoy that. So it was really fun to for season 1 for the reveal of the ending, and then it was also fun to come back to it season 2 and be like, and ta-da! Because I knew that's where I was gonna end, and that was pretty much the only thing I knew about season 2. But I knew that from pretty early on. So anyway, that's my answer to that. Although I don't know, there's a lot of good moments. Does anyone else have a moment that stands out to you as one you enjoy?
I think one that I really liked is I feel like when we took our turn was when we were outside the wall and when 3 got taken. Edge was badly beaten up. Cat was freaking out. Cat couldn't drive the car to save any of our lives. We crashed multiple times. That just whole scene and getting back into the city, it was like everything became very real for us. Like it was very, very joking, and that's when we started. It was like that moment we started figuring things out, or like the gears started turning more when it was that change. And Rossi brought it up. I love my elevator fight. If I could have done any more thing badass than that. Oh, and the cats too. Actually, the cats. Screw everything else. It was all about the cats for me.
Oh yeah, the cats were really good. That's true. I do love cats, and there were a lot of conversations that were a lot of fun. Yeah. Who else? Diana, do you have a favorite memory or moment?
I always gravitate towards all like the dramatic realization stuff. So like in the first Harbingers, just trying to save Bertram. That moment in the room, like desperately just trying to save Bertram. That was such a great moment, and I agree. The whole reveal and the whole like life or death for the Cred Rats after Flex is gone and Bree is gone, and yeah, I gravitate towards the dark and the dramatic stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the dramatic. I really liked the moment too where I got to like really yell at Fex. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. I also enjoyed my moment of on the ship when I realized Cat's not gonna wake up. Like his sister's gone. And I know, but in her mind she was gone.
See, you 3 said she was fine.
I know, but okay. Anyway, someone else?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would agree, Diana. I like the dramatic moments. Like I think that, but so one that I really will never forget that I just really liked was Adam's moment with the kid. Like trying to talk the kid into leaving the cave while we were trying to run. Like that sticks out to me so much as just like a brilliant piece of like learning more about Hattie and all of that. I think in this season though, for me, it was as a watcher, like learning all of the secrets that I didn't know, because we had to leave the room several times throughout the game, and like getting to watch those moments and being like, that's what was happening. He took his shirt off. We could have got that clue early. Right? Like it was all that kind of stuff. And then as a player, it was the 3 moment. Like it was, hey, everyone leave the room, Randy, you're by yourself. And I was like, oh snap, I'm going to die. And then, like, realizing like, no, you're in a completely different setting, and then seeing 3. Like I was literally just like, I had a tear in my eye because like I was like, oh my god, like I'm so frustrated. And then like realizing that I was powerless in that moment. And for the rest of the whole ship scene was just like stressful from that point in a great way, in the way like any good game should be. Like so yeah, probably that. That was a lot of moments. Sorry. Not right.
Oh.
That's right, I had 3 moments.
What about you, Philip?
I mean, I think as a GM or a GM assistant sometimes. I think like there you can't help but be the moment where you like pull back the curtain, like ta-da, like we've done it, like haha. Like, I think that like definitely any time you can. Yeah, I love the fun moments, but I think I'm with you guys. Like the moments where it really like impacts and it feels real.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, anytime that Randy cries, I feel good. Anytime that Diana looks scared and slightly angry, that's great.
That's like all the time.
Yeah.
There were great moments with you guys. Like when we would look over and Rossi's rolling dice and just like glancing up at Diana, and Diana's like, huh?
He's got very good luck, to be fair, guys.
No, I asked her to. That was by design. I was like, I'm gonna put Diana right here so she can and like ask her to look at my dice because like no one else can see my dice. We talked about having a dice cam, but we're like, that like who's gonna? I was like, we don't need a dice cam. We need Diana looking at the dice and then just going like, it's perfect. So I think all those big rolls are cool, but I think I think like the neck reveal I love, but like that's as like a GM or like semi GM like sort of like tinkering around.
It's fun.
I think one of my favorite. I was gonna say the car crash to Adam, but I think one of my favorites is just like watching Ocelot after Cat got hurt. Like his whole like sort of demeanor just like shut down. I thought that was I was like, oh, like as a GM you always sort of worry like is the world working? Do people buy into it? And when that like happened to Ocelot, I was like, oh, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I love that a lot.
Was there anything that surprised you as a player, Philip?
I was so nervous as a player because like CU3 was not designed to be helpful in the situation. It was like he's gonna like I just sort of built him to be like he's a medical care like he's a care unit on this thing. So I gave him like no helpful adversarial skills. And then when I realized what we were up against, I was like, like I am not helpful at all. So I think the first time we like opened that door and that thing like basically shot to pieces everybody, and then Meghan was like, and now it gets like a free rocket launcher attack.
I know.
Oh my God.
Well, good thing you're there to repair us.
So I don't know if I'd say favorite, but that was like incredibly. That was the most surprising.
Yeah,
sure.
I got that. That is the next question that is on here from Table Cat Games, which is what is the most surprising thing a player did that you didn't expect? So it's kind of similar, but not quite. The most surprising thing a player did that I didn't expect. That's a hard question. Does anybody have any thoughts?
For me, it was Ocelot leaving with the mobsters. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, there might be a fight in the elevator. That'd be cool. I thought maybe the most likely thing was like there was gonna be a fight right outside of 3's room. Like, that's what you expect a normal party to do. But I did not think, in my wildest dreams, I was like, no way is the rest of the team just gonna let this one guy walk into a hallway with 6 mobsters, heavily armed, then disarm him, and then walk into an elevator and walk away to who knows where.
He never left the elevator. I will say that.
But we didn't know that he wasn't gonna like.
I had a plan. I had a plan to stop him.
What if your rolls went wrong, Randy? You could have been who knows where. I was like, oh god, this is. Oh boy.
That's funny. Yeah. I think mine that just surprised me the most was when Ghost was like, at the very end of season 2, when Ghost was like, I'm gonna go through this door to where, on the bullet train, to where 3 and Mr. Lin was. Not because, I don't know, that was gonna happen. It was just so, it it was just like, and now we're doing this. And I was like, oh!
As soon as Rossi was like, voice of Mr. Lin and 3 is still alive, because I was like, 3 might be dead. That's when we got on the train, I was like, there are body bags being loaded onto this thing, like, 3 could be dead. And then we heard him, and I was like, I have to get in there right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Anyone else have any other surprising moments that jumped out at you? It's okay if you don't as well.
Yeah, character-wise, it's hard, but I would say something, and that was a lot on Rossi's end, and Randy actually brought it up when he was just talking in the last question, was those moments of us leaving the rooms. Getting a chance to watch what happened, like seeing what all of you guys were doing while I was on the elevator, I'm like, oh, this is great. Randy, I was so excited when Randy and I finally got to see what was going on with the girls on the elevator at the tower. I'm just like, I want to know because they're like, oh, we're hanging out, we're climbing up the elevator. I'm like, how did you guys get there? We had a moment, we just had some issues pushing a button, but we made it there. And that was those moments of us leaving and stuff, that was really cool. Getting to experience the story, because that was yet again more surprises that we were learning as we were watching the show with you guys as well too, which was super cool. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, that was cool. All right. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think there were lots of moments, but I think the one that surprised, not sort of surprised me the most, but like, was how, like, I loved watching the characterization that Edge had when we were in space. Like, especially in the beginning with, like, I'm worried about Cat. Like, that is all I'm worried about. Like, even to the point where, like, Rossi was able to, like, make jokes because you were so focused on just, like, helping your sister. And that was just such a strong, like, character thing that, like, not that I'm surprised you can do it, but just, like, as a player, I was like, oh, that's great. Like, I really love how much, like, we all go into these games and we give our all to these stories. And I really love being a part of, like, just my friends here, because they make me want to be a better storyteller too, right?
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, but yeah, it is really nice, because, like, whenever you start getting that and you start getting to play and commit to it with other people who will do that, it's a different feeling when you're playing with people who won't.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. All right, here's the next question. This one is from Enter the Rectangle. And they ask, what led to the decision to pre-tape this season? I love this streamlined story, but people who are used to more interactive RPG shows might disagree. Will there be any live shows in the next chapter of Harbingers, or will they be prepared as well? So here's my thing when it comes to this kind of stuff. I am in the business of doing what I enjoy, and that is it. I have spent enough time doing things that I do not enjoy. And so if I choose to do those things, that will be because I have found people who can do the things and are interested in doing the things that I don't enjoy. And one of those is streaming. I don't mind to do it every once in a while, but having to do the tech myself drives me bananas. So yeah, and the other part we've kind of talked about here and there. For me, I wanted to be able to do it in a studio. It's a lot, or in a space where we could do it together. It's hard. It's expensive. It's hard to have a space where you can do that weekly. Could be a possibility, but we do have one cast member who lives in a different city than the rest of us, so that's another reason why we've done it all together in this way. And it will continue to be pre-taped as of right now. Because I want to be able to do it in person, and that is the top priority as far as I am concerned. Yes. But I'm glad you like the streamline story.
I also have a more remote job, so I can work from LA now, which is way better than the job I had before. So that is, for me, means I can come down to LA like for longer periods of time. So let me know, Megan, because I could just go down to LA, rent a motel for a couple weeks, and record.
Well, mayhaps if we have that option, then maybe we'll spread it out a bit. But But yeah, either way, it still would be pre-recorded in that instance. It's just easier on everybody's schedule. Sort of like Philip was talking about earlier. It's easier. It allows us to do more in the long run, especially since the majority of what is happening at Gone Rogue outside of the performers and Philip GMing, it's just me. It's just me back here doing all the editing and everything. I am Gone Rogue, so I can only move as fast as I can. And there's a real big demand in this space, in any space, to like be constantly creating stuff, constantly creating content, and that's how I got burned out. So I'm not doing that anymore. So a lot of this is me finding the balance, which means things will take longer. Alas. Sorry, but they'll come. They will come. Okay, next question is from Into the Rectangle as well, and asks, did you shoot the whole season in one day? We did it in 2 days of about 7 hours, give or take, of shooting each day. Yeah.
Plus our bonus episode that we did.
Yeah, which that one I think was maybe 3 hours most. I haven't like pulled it up yet, but that will come out somehow, so check socials for that. All right, next question is also from Into the Rectangle. If your character had the opportunity to advance, are there any edges or skills you would like the chance to try out? So I will say, and I guess we didn't really have an opportunity to talk about this, but these characters did start at seasoned. But beyond that, if you have any other advances you would have taken, what might you have done, if you have any thoughts?
For me, because I had martial artist. I think I forget what the next step up is from that. I think it's just like more damage with it, because Ocelot being a very unassuming type of guy and everything doesn't look like he can hold his own. But like just being able to like really kick more ass and stuff, I'll look at him as a tank dude. Just get up in there and just beat the shit out of everything. You know, outside of automatons or whatever those things were that
automatons.
Yeah, automatons that just scared everybody. You know, it's fine. Speaks with cats. That's an edge. I would have made an edge. Speaks with cats.
Edge?
Yep, edge and cat right there. 2 sisters, twins, both hear the same sentence.
There's an edge that could govern that. Yeah. Anyone else have anything? I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
I don't.
Girls well enough to say what I would choose. I'm so sorry.
I don't think I've thought about it either. Like,
yeah,
we knew we were coming in and that so our characters in season 1 were able to sort of level up throughout the season. And so we wanted to be at the same sort of level at the end of this season that they were.
Yeah.
So we came in like, hey, build your characters at that level, and we just won't worry about like leveling up throughout the season. And so like my thing was, hey, he's not going to grow beyond this. I need to be as sort of in what he is as I can. I guess I would pick something that makes him better at hacking or like something like that.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of yeah, right. There are definitely a lot of things like that. I don't know. I don't tend to think about advances unless there's like something in my original character build that I couldn't have whenever I was building characters. I was like, crap, I'm gonna build towards it. And I didn't have anything like that, and I really don't have much like that anymore. Most of the time, outside of the fact that maybe I'll get another cool thing to use, I care more about the psychological aspect, the RP of the character that I've created, so I don't tend to think about advances. When they come up, I'm like, oh, great, sure.
On that note, to piggyback off of that, if I were to advance, I would do something based off of what my character discovered or is getting better at, or maybe there was a flaw that happened and I want to take that and make a hindrance. Like, I would do something like that.
Yeah, I see John Christian here says, I don't pre-map my PC's progression. Each feat, etc. is driven by the story and sequence of events happening in a moment. Yeah, and I do like, I think that's a cool idea, and I like to do that too, because it kind of, especially when you have the time to build with them and everything. Yeah, totally. All right, did anybody have anything else on that? I didn't get to say anything. No? Okay.
I would try to make Hattie less scared from season 1, but that's very difficult.
But with the kids, you could have advanced in a way because you were protecting the kids.
Well, that was something Megan and I talked about. One of my hindrances was yellow, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get rid of that. She's like, technically it's a major one. I'm like, damn it! And then I just got, fear tabled and all that other stuff.
Alas, yes. This next question comes from Tiki Phantom, and Tiki Phantom says, what's the next game you want to GM that you haven't before? I would be interested in GMing Dread or the Alien RPG, because those systems are cool and I think would serve my GM style well. But in general, I just want to play Savage Worlds because it does, or run Savage Worlds because it does what I need it to, and I enjoy it. Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I want to play Vampire. I want to GM like a game of Vampire the Masquerade. So my partner, he's really, really into vampires, and like any vampire medium, I probably watch or will have to watch in the future. And I really have always wanted to play Vampire the Masquerade anyway. And the more I look into it and learn about it, I'm like, I need to GM this. I need to find other people to play at a table so we can play this game.
Yeah. I get that. Anyone else have any thoughts?
What do you want to GM, Diana?
Not me.
No, I mean, I that would go along with because I love Blades. I would love to do that. And one that I've always looked at too that I would really be into is a Firefly Cortex game. Just because that one is, I've read through that. It can be very crunchy and everything as well too. But the world that all of that is based off around in is that world and everything is very that's my love. That's my love right there.
Yeah, I get that. Cool. All right, next question is from Blair Peterson. We basically already answered this, I think. Given the ever-increasing live streams of TTRPG games, what was it that caused you to buck this trend and do a fully pre-recorded adventure? To be in person, so everybody could be there. Yep. Okay, next question is also from Blair Peterson. Your production felt much more lean or productive than most streaming content. Was this a product of editing, or was there a directorial mandate to try and cut down on the tangents that oftentimes can derail a streaming show from its original directive to tell a story, more similar to what you get in episodic television? Time was part of it because we were on a crunch to.
We had 2 days in the space.
We had 2 days in the space, and essentially
our last hour was clean. So.
Yeah, we purchased a certain amount of hours for that space, so there was an element of that, which I think is honestly helpful because it allows you to like, kind of what you were talking about, Philip, with just playing it all together like that. It kind of keeps you in the moment and the place and the mood and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say that when we're playing in person, we were very focused on just keep going. Where's the train going? I wasn't thinking about time I was just thinking of being character the entire time. Let's go.
I will say that I think in general, that is not that the GM has full control over that, but that's also a GM thing. And then also whether or not the players are engaged can also make a difference in regards to that aspect. And then also this makes it really hard because, like, you all see the 5 of us sitting here, but I don't see that. I see my entire room and my partner coughing in the background and a cat walking by, like it's
you got a cat. You got 2 cats. Yeah.
Okay, cats. So the cats. It's very distracting. It's hard to focus. For me, more when streaming. Yeah, and then you have somebody sitting next to you.
I think it's also like I said, we had a time crunch, so we had to do it. And I find it when you play a weekly game, you've got that like sort of like build back up to getting into it, and you're like, oh, I haven't seen you in a week, Randy. How's Colin doing? Like, oh, blah blah. You like had to catch up because they're your friends. Where like we caught up before we started, and nothing new happened because we were with each other for the next like 2 days straight. So I think we didn't lose that time, and also I think Megan is probably the best person I know at at like having basically a pre-production meeting, just saying like, this is what we want to do, and this is the vibe we want, and this is how I want it to feel, you know, which is super helpful. You know, if you're trying to run a serious game and you don't broadcast that to your players, you know, pretty soon, you know, everyone's wearing party hats and going around stabbing all the NPCs. When like Megan has shown me that before you start a game, you can just be like, listen, this is a horror game. I want it to be scary. You could just tell them. Apparently, you could just tell your players what you want out of the game, and if they're nice to you, they just do that. Like, it turns out it's an option.
Yeah, it's important. Well, at least in a show, but in any game, really, it can be. Yeah, that's funny. Anyone else have any thoughts on that? I think that's much of it. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Ready? No, I was just gonna say the one thing I really liked about how that we did it also, John Christian brought up, which is like all of those touches, like the sound effects and like the last week on Harbingers, like all of those made it just so much easier to like digest and watch. And while we were actually shooting it, there was, at the very beginning, I was like, we're not doing like a little intro thing where we're like, hey, welcome, you know what I mean? How are we going to cut this up? And then after we sort of started and it just sort of went, I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense just to like be telling the story like this.
The place where I really learned a lot of this stuff was Wildcards. Wildcards, if y'all don't know what that is, was the Savage World show I did over at Saving Throw for years upon years, and was like my whole life for a while. And for that show, there was often a lot of like stuff you had to talk about before we ever got into anything, and it turns into 15 to 30 minutes of chatting before you actually get into the game. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it started to become a thing of like, okay, let's get there. And it can feel really nice to not have like it goods and bads on both sides as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I think it's kind of nice to like dive in like that. It can be cool. Really, in this instance, that was Philip's idea. Had I been jamming it, we probably would have just done intros and stuff because I'm used to jamming stream games, and I would have probably run it that way. So kudos to Philip on that one. Yeah. Yay. All right. Here is a question from DJ Regular. DJ says, you may have covered this during Harbingers, but could you describe a bit of the thought process and prep for the switching of GM roles mid-story? How much do both folks know or limit themselves to knowing, and how much is there room for improv or unexpected plot developments are in place? So we kind of touched on this a little bit before, but I feel like this asks a bit more of a specific question in regards to like improv and unexpected plot development. So I'll just say, for just talking about my chunk of Eden Redux, I tried to leave it really open-ended. A lot of what I did was improvised based upon what the players decided, because I didn't know where we were going to end up. Like, I had to plan my thing. It was probably one of the hardest things I've done before then, and I was like, I'm gonna have it be like Aliens. It's gonna be like Aliens. It's survival horror. I know that I want to get them down to the water at the end. I know that's where I'm ending it, but I don't know how they're going to get there. I'm just going to let them do it however. Here are a few things they can find if they go to these various places. Here are clues to discover. And then, you know, mostly like I followed them. They wanted to go to the bridge. So I was like, great, there's a bridge. Let's go to the bridge. You know, I had a few things in place, and then I had other things to allow them to kind of do what they wanted so that I could to improv. And essentially the entirety of getting that space station to the ground was improvised. I thought they were going to go to the mess hall. So, you know, but that's also them creating something really cool that we're able to build upon.
What was in the mess hall?
Yeah.
The mess hall, you all saw that briefly. The mess hall is where all the automatons were, and that is also.
I'm very glad we did that.
That is also where the escape pods are, and I thought you all would use the escape pods.
We never survived.
I missed out on food in the mess hall. Damn.
You would have had to have thought creatively, because there's no way in hell. I mean, you can barely defeat one of them because they are they are monsters. I mean, as we all discovered, this is Deadlands, and everything is deadly in Deadlands. So.
I will say the reveal of that automaton was like terrifying, and then like to be shot 4 or 5 times and then be like, okay, that's done, and now a rocket. Like, I was like, oh, I literally at the table was just like, I'm done. Like, there's no way. Like, well, it's just impossible.
That was my goal. My goal was to be like, here you go. I'm throwing you in the deep end. Be scared of this world because it is scary. It is very scary. This is just this one. Yeah. But that's how that automaton is written. That's what it does, and that is one of them. Yeah.
Jeez.
So.
What was DJ Regular's question again? I've lost it now.
DJ's question was, describe a bit of the thought process and prep for the switching of GM roles mid-story, and how much both of us knew or limited ourselves to knowing, and how much room is for improv or unexpected plot developments are in place.
I think it's, yeah. So I think you hit it, Megan. I think we spend a lot of time trying to shield the other GM from as much as possible so they can enjoy the experience of playing. I think generally we know where we're starting and the end point, because you have to pass it off, and the other person can't pick it up if you don't know where you're starting.
Yeah.
But all the middle stuff, like in Coven, I had no idea what was going to happen, what would happen. I just knew the big picture of the setting. Yeah. That was easier because it was week to week, so I had time to prep. I think this time that's tougher to pick up when you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it is a little tougher, and well, I will see how we're able to do it next season too. Yeah, and it'll be different. It'll be different because who knows where that story is going to lead. But there's definitely, who knows? There's definitely a mix of knowing. I think in both of the seasons, Philip's known more than the other players, but not too much. And I think the same was true of me here. Like, I obviously knew that they were going to be that we were in a space station, that we were in the Matrix. I knew all those things, the Matrix. So
I think you just have to be flexible. I think we were just pretty flexible. I felt like I was flexible when I was in the taking over the GM. I was like, I don't know, whatever happens, I guess.
Yeah, you guys, you have to be.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you guys did it in season 1 too. The flow between you two when the change happened, it was that same sort of thing. It was just the opposite. Like, Rossi held the helm for the majority of it, and then Meghan came in, and it was still one very cohesive story. You guys did a fantastic job with just melding like both stories. Make sure season 3 is just as good too. Putting pressure on you now, but
I think the characters provide the through line. So as long as you don't change anything up too bad, like Ocelot's still there on the ship as he is in Eden Redux.
Yeah.
Is he still the same though? Is he still the same, Rossi?
I don't know. I don't have anything to do with the spaceship.
All right. Next question is from Pirate Scribe. This says, what was one moment you enjoyed playing out in Eden Redux? I think we answered that, so I'm going to go ahead on to the next question. This one's from Voodoo Goth 11. It says, do the witches still have magic outside of their world?
That's a good question.
You think I'm going to answer that question?
Good try.
I'm going to assume no, since we don't have our guns and our weapons and where we ended too.
But yeah, I still have hacking in this, right? Like I'm not as good.
So
but I will say the witches were a different kind of situation though, right? Like, in that they were, the magic was still magic, right?
More surprises. She never say anything. She is locked up tight.
So you all know now the setting, which is Deadlands Hell on Earth. And if you know anything about Deadlands Hell on Earth, you know that magic exists in a form. It just Yeah, it's just how it manifests and things like that. So,
I'm ready.
yeah. But in regards to like what is actually going on at the end of season 1 or season 2, you're gonna have to keep watching to find out.
Okay.
There is somewhere we are headed with all of this eventually. One day. All right.
And we also
Next.
have to catch up with Nina Devlin, who's like riding around in Bertram.
Yeah. There is that. Next question is also from Voodoo Goth 11, asking more questions I'm not going to answer, which is there only one collector or are there more?
Ooh. I didn't even think about that. Hey!
I think there's one.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's one. Maybe. I don't know. See, whenever I play Harbingers, I come out with like more questions than I get answers for, and it's great.
Well, hopefully, the goal is though that one day all those questions get answered. That's the hope. It's a lot easier to ask questions than it is to answer them. So that's on me and Philip, but really on me.
One thing I do want to call out: if you are watching the intro, there is a second where ARC is brought up in the intro. Like there's like ARC and like
question marks.
Yeah, and question marks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Megan does a great job of like throwing in like very subtle things. And like after watching all of season 2, I went back and watched season 1, and there are a lot of moments where I'm like, oh, I wonder if that. And so like what I'm looking forward to is at the end of this entire journey together, like looking back and being like, oh man, like we could have known this thing so much earlier.
Yeah, I think I said that at the end of something in chat in one of the episodes that you all, I give you all the information. You just don't know how it goes together.
Right.
So, yeah, for sure. All right, so this next question is also Voodoo Goth 11 asks, are the characters from both seasons already connected, or are they just in the same world? Again, you're gonna have to watch.
But you're asking the right question.
We want to know too.
Yeah. So
all I know is when all of them combined, I want to know: are we gonna be like, I'm playing Edge for 1 second, all of a sudden I turn into Rowan? Like, how's that gonna work?
Don't we all want to know how that's gonna work?
So I said a joke in our like group chat that was like, so Megan, how are we gonna do all this like makeup and stuff like when we're like switching characters? And Megan was like, I'm not thinking about that right now.
And I was gonna say, I was like, let the girl breathe.
I was like, it's just a question.
If any of this is ever gonna happen, it's got to go one step at a time. Yeah. All right. Thank you all. That was the end of our pre-submitted questions. We have a little bit of time left. If you have any questions in chat and want to throw those in, feel free to do so. But I also know the cast here has a few questions. So while we wait to see if there are any questions from chat, cast, what are your questions? Oh, Diana, I see, yes. What is your question, Diana?
So we know Ocelot had some feelings for Cat.
Yeah.
But knowing Cat, Megan played it very like, there's no feelings at all, I'm a tough chick. Or did Cat have feelings for Ocelot still? That's what I would like to know. Or can you not reveal that until season 5?
Well, that's a good question. Until season 5. I might not. Yeah, I think that I think Kat did too. I think in my mind, I mean, Adam and I never necessarily sat down and like decided quite what exactly happened with the relationship, but the relationship was, in my mind, was kind of not balanced because he was essentially her drug dealer supplier. In a lot of ways. Yeah, supplier. So there was kind of an imbalance there, which I think led to an unhealthy relationship, whether or not they cared about each other, were compatible. The way I interpreted Kat's response to him was there was still kind of a knowing there, but I think there's hurt. think there's some hurt and anger. So there's a little bit of her kind of being like, no, I'm done with this. I'm focused on my sister. I'm focused on this other stuff. That's kind of how I think about it. I don't think it's as black and white as she doesn't have feelings anymore. I think she's just like really trying to be like, no.
And I can see that, yeah.
I think that's how she deals with stuff. She doesn't want to look at the emotion. She wants to be impulsive and run away from it and go do something that makes her feel good so that she doesn't have to think about the emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely felt that.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right, we've got a question here from John Christian in chat that says, is this project intended as high-end RPG content or as a path to TV shows and movies? Or maybe it's live theater with some post-production. Like, how does this fit into each of your career arcs? That's an interesting question. So a big thing for me as I started getting into streaming RPGs and coming from a theatrical background, I really, really like that it allows me to essentially facilitate dramatic improv in a really cool way. And I realize that not everybody likes to play like that or even enjoys watching games like that or being a part of a game like that. But that's really, really cool to me as a performer. It allows me to create a character, which you don't get to do as an actor in general unless you've created the work yourself or written it. You get to create a character that you then get to perform, assuming that you have a space where it feels safe to do so, and a GM who's running a game where you're able to do that. And so I really want to continue to find other ways to make it more theatrical, to add those elements in, and I intend to do so over time. Yeah, I don't know. Career is a weird word to me. Mostly what I'm trying to do is what I enjoy doing and facilitate that, and create a space for me and the people who I enjoy working with to get to perform, because especially when you're out here pursuing acting, you don't always get that. And this is a really nice way to do it. So that's my goal. Yeah, and
100%
it could be
agree.
Yeah, and it's going to be all kinds of things. I like doing RPGs, but I intend to do like shorts like I've done. I have others in the works. I don't know. I intend to do whatever comes to my mind. This is going to be whatever crazy pants thing Megan comes up with.
Sexy leather pants.
Yeah.
Sexy leather pants.
I'd like to just sort of answer that last piece, like, so I know last season, at the end of the season, I sort of shared that, like, I had some big health stuff come up, and that's really changed a lot of, like, where I was headed as an actor, because I was doing a lot more live theater and musicals up here in Seattle, and since then, I can't do the same stuff that I was doing the same way. Like, I'm rebuilding like stamina and all that kind of stuff. So this, like, doing most tabletop RPG shows that I've been doing, but specifically Harbingers, has been a saving grace in a lot of ways, in that, like, it gives me a chance to, like, act and do what I love with people that I really care about, and to do the thing that made me want to be an actor in the first place, which is to tell stories that, like, move people. And like, if that goes anywhere, like, awesome. If it doesn't, and it's just moving people, I am 100% fine with that as an actor, because that's what I got into this game for, right? Like, and by game I mean acting as a whole, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think the career question is, I feel like you can only view it backwards. You know, like, I can't I wish I knew where this fit in my career, but it's only in retrospect that I could tell you, like, is this big and meaningful, or is this just something I really love doing with a bunch of friends? I don't know. Yeah,
I'm with you. It's still such a new thing, and it's so, like, it's really hard to make money doing this. So as a performer, sure, it can be beneficial in the sense that it allows you to work your instrument. It allows you, to stretch those muscles. But it's very different still. But who knows? Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts? No, I'm good.
I mean, I'm the same way with it. I mean, I think, because I've been out here now 14 years. like in LA, and coming out, and so many people come out, especially here too. It's just like, I want to be an actor, and like a lot of people go. You do have people like us because other people think, oh, well, it's all about the money. I want to be famous. I want money and everything. It's like you can't go into it thinking that way. Like what is the best part about it? And every single person has said it, and that is moving people and telling stories. That's why I have always loved theater. That's why I love doing film, TV, whenever, like whatever aspect. And the fact that we're all so entwined into this type of storytelling is awesome. Because I like it's our niche, how we're able to do that. Like we're able to do what we love with the people that we love and enjoy. Yeah, so I totally agree with all that sentiments from you guys.
Yeah,
100%. As Diana said, 100%.
I like it. Here's a quick question from Ronnie Walton. Question to all: what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
It's a good one.
Strawberry cheesecake.
Oh, that's a good one.
Moose tracks for me.
What's in Moose Tracks?
It's like vanilla with fudge swirls and like tiny Reese's peanut butter cups.
I love how I can see you tasting it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Rocky Road or peanut butter chocolate.
Yeah. I like anything with caramel inside of it. Yeah, I say caramel.
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 Caramel. From the Midwest.
West. Caramel.
Caramel.
I don't love ice cream. I prefer frozen yogurt. I really like just the basic tangy frozen yogurt with some nice fruit, fresh fruit and
Fruity
stuff.
Pebbles.
Like, I like fresh fruit and the yogurt chips and mochi. It's so good in it. Oh, and the little popping boba. That's what I like. But I do like a really good vanilla ice cream or a good chocolate, like anything or strawberry, like any of those qualities. Yeah, I like that. Sweet, thanks for the question. All right, we have another question here from Gothiana. Do you all have any advice for someone who wants to get better at role-playing storytelling, but who has crazy anxiety when it comes to improv?
Everyone has improv. I'm just gonna everyone has
improv.
No, I'm sorry. Everyone gets nervous with improv. Everyone does.
I think
don't worry.
It's true. It's very true. I think people get anxious about it. I think the big thing is finding a group who you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who do it even unintentionally, but kind of like have a tendency to poke fun at somebody's role playing, and when you have that at the table, that can really, really undercut you. And so it makes sense, if you've ever experienced that, to have anxiety about it. And it's hard. Honestly, it gets better through doing it. And also, I think a lot of people think of role playing as like, I've got to perform this character and I've got to perform it well. You don't have to do that. You can also be like, okay, so you can describe what your character does. You know, you can say, my character says, screw you, in a really dramatic, intimidating way. You don't have to do it as a performance. And the reason I'm saying that is because I think that can also be a good step for getting to the place where you feel comfortable to do it, because it should be fun. It shouldn't be something that you feel anxious about. But I'm with Diana. I get it. I feel anxious about it too. I still feel anxious. I spend a lot of time playing Cat feeling anxious because it's not always easy. So I definitely think you should cut yourself a break in regards to that part of it, because it's not easy all the time.
And also remember, like, I know for me, being trained as an actor, with all the training I've done, they always tell you there's always a part of you in that character. So remember, whatever choice you make as yourself, like, that's okay. That's your character, and start off there, for sure.
Yeah, and you don't have to be perfect. You don't You are not, like, I'm not Cat. I do not know how to kill people with 2 swords. I don't.
Well, I've seen you do that.
Maybe stage combat, but I don't know that I can actually do that.
Hey, you did great. We got the cops called on this one. So
we did. That was true. Helicopter and all. But that was a whole thing.
I wasn't there. I was on vacation. I missed it.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. But yeah, I'm not that, and that's part of playing these games and getting to play these characters, is that hopefully you have a GM or you have other players who help support you in the decisions you make to make you feel as badass or whatever as the character that you build. That's part of the play, in my opinion. And I don't think people do that all the time, but
yeah, I think the thing I would say first is to get that table together of people who like are supportive, like you said, Megan. Especially if you're really anxious about it. None of us started acting or playing tabletop games and role playing and just being like, yeah, I'm ready to do this and I know how to do this. Like it takes time. It takes time and we're all still learning. And I think that's another piece to accept where you are and to be like, hey, this is I'm doing something and I'm enjoying it. And if you're enjoying it, then that's why it's a game.
My journey to RPing can be seen on the internet. You can go back and watch my first bit where I sucked, in my opinion, because I was like timid and scared, and you can go now and I'm like banana pants sometimes. So it took time. That's over a course of years. So, anyway.
I think I have some thoughts. I think they hit the anxiety thing on the head, just like having a supportive group of people. And like it's totally fine, I know this isn't exactly your question, but sometimes when I'm playing and my players are like, yeah, and like, so this dude's name, and I'm like, I feel like I've written it down or I don't have an option. I'll just be like, listen, he has a name, I can't find it right now. Like, you could just say that. Yeah. You'd be like, I could get back to you on that. Like, there is a map to wherever, and it's got names of cities that I have not yet made up, but they are real. Like, I wouldn't say that part. I would say, it's got names, I don't have it right now, I'll get it to you. Just like cut yourself slack. You can cut yourself slack.
Yeah, you totally can.
And as far as the role playing, I think when I do NPCs, I'll just write down, I'll be like, all right, Scuzz, I'll give them like a couple adjectives, like paint a little picture in my head of what I think and just write it down, just like a weird guy, greasy, and then I think I might have even said this in the stream, I don't remember, but I'll just cast him in my head. I'll cast him of like who I think he looks like. I think I said that he looked like Mr. Filch in Harry Potter or something.
Yeah, you did.
And I was just like, feel like that's who he is. So now when I have to play him, I was like, that's what this person would do. Like if I say like, oh, you meet like a huge big guy, and he's very stoic, but he's full. Maybe I'll just be like, in my head, I'll be like, he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Like whatever, and I'll
it
just
does help.
Like my best Arnold Schwarzenegger accent, or not. But like if you already know what you're shooting for, then you don't have to think of like, oh, what I should do. Be like, I'll just do my impression of this other person. Like, and then in your notes it's really easy. You're like, oh, it's whoever, Gary Busey, and then like he's immediately crazy, and you don't have to think like, oh, like crazy, like big teeth, smile, wide-eyed. You can just say like, oh yeah, when I come back to Jimmy the fence, like he looks like Gary Busey, and then he's talking all over, and then you don't have to think. I think a lot of the improv thing is just like setting yourself up so you don't have to think as much on your feet, or at least what happened.
Yeah, totally. Any other thoughts on that? We've got a few more questions here now as well. We're good? Okay. The next question is from John Christian. Have y'all considered a show where every person GMs one or maybe 2 episodes before passing the story off to the next person to continue? I've actually done this.
We joked about it at the beginning of this too.
No, this has been a running joke for years.
It's not a running joke. It's true. Everybody.
John Christian wants me to GM. Okay, fine.
100 years. 100 years.
We did do this. We did this on Wildcards actually, where each of us GM'd an episode, 2 episodes, and we did like a different setting and everything. So it can be really cool. Although the continuing story bit, that would be difficult. I think it would depend. That would be like really difficult to both play and GM that. I feel like, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what you wanted to do. Yeah.
That'd be cool though.
Yeah.
I would love to play in a game that Diana GMs.
Yeah.
It's just a one shot. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah,
I mean, you say one shot, My Little Ponies, right?
I would absolutely love to tell like random or like even like Harbingers. I don't want to touch because that would make me really anxious. My anxiety would be huge. But I would love to like tell a story with this group of people and like GM something because, well, at the end of the day, like everyone at this table, I just think are great people. And my friends, and so yeah, absolutely, I would love to.
All right, here's another question from Ronnie Walton. With as busy as y'all are with shows and stuff, do y'all still find time to play when it's not for a show? I will say personally, I really like playing on a show because for me, I feel that it gives me more permission to perform. And I'm more likely to like deck out on the costume and stuff like that, and I enjoy that aspect of it. But no, there is not always a lot of time to play outside of streaming as well.
When's the last time you played outside of a stream, Megan?
Me? Actually, not that long ago, I played it was still online, but it wasn't streamed. I played a test game with No Nat Ones. I think it was him, and that was probably the last time, other than like con games and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's been a while, and that was like, I don't know, last year. But con games, it's been years because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What about the rest of you?
Adam?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got Siren Song that was over at the DAT Network. That was a home game that we started July of 2020. And it was that was great to bring kind of the story, because everybody's characters is just a story itself. The pirates, everybody loves pirates, right? So that was something fun. And then after our really intense season finale of that one, that's one that's just gonna go like back to home game stuff. And then we have our own personal game of Extinction Curse, PF2, that we haven't like had a chance to like get back into. But yeah, we've got a couple that we do jump into. I run the Extinction Curse one.
We have Rune Lords too.
Yeah, and Runt Lords that we briefly brought over onto the DAT Network as well too. We've been kind of jumping back.
So
into
we have a couple of games that we jump around.
But it's not weekly though. Like Runt Lords has been, we've kind of gotten back into like an every other week. But Pirates we haven't played since our season finale, and our circus game we've played once maybe in the past 2 months, maybe once or twice. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard for sure.
Yeah, it is hard. All right. Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know that many people in this part of the U.S. Like that might be weird, but like I moved back because I'm from the East Coast, so this is my first time on the West Coast. Didn't really know many people up here, and then a pandemic happened. So I've been mostly to myself. So for me, a lot of my playing was done online and like with people. So I mean, I'd love to have a game around here, but yeah. Not right now.
It's hard.
I actually have a weekly game that I play. I was DMing like a homebrew 5e game for like years, and it finished, I think.
Ooh.
I don't know when it finished. Maybe around the time Harbingers started. So I was like, I can't be doing two things at once.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But it was like a 2-year running campaign. And so but it's just like 3 people. It's like 2 good friends, my brother, play online, and he's DMing his first game. So it's actually the first pre-written game I've ever played.
Oh, nice.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
yeah. All right. Do any of y'all have any other questions? Oh, I see Adam has one.
I have 2 actually. One of them, I want to know, Megan and Rossi, do you guys hate me? You guys because of my brother in season 1, and then you guys took away my fucking cat. You guys took away Lynx. What did you do with my cat?
Well, that has nothing to do with Philip, and everything to do with the fact that y'all were in a computer program, and you came out of it into a survival horror setting.
I want Lynx back.
I know, but there is more time to be had with these characters. We haven't had the chance to see where it goes.
It's fine, Megan. You're not gonna tell me.
Wait, I have an idea. We could extract some data from the computer that is Lynx's brain and build you a Lynx.
Oh, perfect. That's what we're doing.
Anything is possible.
Know if the computer's gonna be able to do that, but we can roll for it, maybe.
My other question was, and I don't think we've talked about tonight. Everybody's inspiration for like your character. Where like what in everybody's brain brought you towards like these characters for this season?
That's a good question. I have wanted to create a character based on Catwoman for a while, and so I don't know that I quite played out all the elements that I would have liked with her in that aspect, but I feel like I got some of them in. But just sort of in the element of that character, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman specifically, of that character just kind of being like kind of slowly falling apart in her mind by just like trying to make these big decisions and things. She kind of moved away from that, I feel like, in the actual play of her, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Randy.
I played a character who was very unsure of himself in season 1, and so my goal was to be a bit more sure of myself as a character. So I wanted to build someone who like could do what they like, was good at what they said they were good at. So like Ghost was a hacker, and I wanted to hack things, and that was the thing. So, like when Rossi was like, "Hey, you could try driving this thing," and I was like, "No."
Hack it.
That's not
Hack it. Yeah.
I think I had the most trouble figuring out my character, as we all know, in session 0 or our meeting, but I wanted to base her off of parkouring, and like Megan said, like I kind of wish I did a little bit more of that in the game, in the show. I just want to be a badass. I mean, a cyberpunk badass with 2 pistols. That was my main goal. Because I always play the badass characters, but every now and then I need to like play something different. So, but no, this one I was like, no, I want to be a badass.
Yeah.
And Rossi, we know it came like 3 days prior to shooting.
So I feel like many people, like Randy just said, it's always like a reaction to the last character I played.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Sure. Yeah.
like not a dickhead, and like not someone who like is like a one-man tank, like just the opposite of that, you know. So I was like, all right, the last like Bertram, you know, had his like tomahawks, and he was really good at physical combat. So I was like, great, no combat, and then you know, like be a dick, like be incredibly pleasant, you know. So I was like, all right, I was. Just because you took it the wrong way, Diane.
To be fair, my character's easily offended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was the main thing. And also, I think there's something really fun about coming into a group of characters that already exist and thinking, like, what can I do to, like, fill in a hole?
Yeah.
You know, like, no one had healing, great healing. Like, everyone was, like, tough, you know, cred rats. I was like, not that, you know, just... And I think that can be really fun. I don't know, I had maybe this is not apropos, but I had an acting teacher in school that was like, you guys are performers. You know how sometimes you like read a script and you're like, man, I feel like I know how everyone else should play their character, but I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with mine.
Yeah,
you know, it just like happens every time. You're like, I get what you're supposed to be doing, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It was like, that's fine. Like when you do that, you just look around and you say like, all right, I know who everybody else is. I'm not that.
Sure.
You know, and that sticks with me. And so I feel like that's what I try to do in RPGs. Like, if I don't know who I'm playing, I'm just like, all right, so I'm not someone who parkours, and I'm not like an unassuming guy who like speaks easy, and I'm not an expert hacker, and I'm not good at combat because everyone else is. Like, I'm just whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I try to do that, and I think that's good. Then you're not like in a party with like 2 people like, I am huge and I have a giant sword. You're like, great, I'm also gonna play huge and giant sword. You know,
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Sweet. What else? Anyone else have any other questions that you are dying to ask?
What is some? Oh.
Sorry, no, go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, what are the players? So this isn't for you, Megan, or I guess maybe Rossi, kind of. But like, what are you looking forward to learning or finding out about the world in the next season or seasons? So for example, I'm really pumped to actually find out like why all of this stuff is happening and why these people are being brought together.
Yes. And who the collector is.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Anything else? Anything else?
That was a fun moment too when CU3 all those memories were coming back and then it pops in and like we're all just sitting there going, son of a bitch, it's the collector again, it's back.
My favorite was Diana being like, oh wait, we don't know that.
Now the characters know, but the players do.
Player knowledge. Player knowledge.
That was a great moment too.
Oh gosh.
And it was nice because the collector wasn't like it didn't show as prevalent as it did in like season 1. Season 1, like there's interaction with it and having that little Easter egg like for us too, I thought was really cool. Yeah. That was fun. Damn that collector.
Those are fun to drop.
That dude, shake my fist.
Shake your fist.
I'll shake your fist too.
CU3 is working for that dude that we don't know.
He's our friend now. Maybe.
We have taken him over. He is ours. You know what I realized actually, and I watching the season, you were like, you know, this robot, it's not he, and I realized after playing that maybe that wasn't CU3's pronouns. So, you know, like that was something that I learned rewatching like the game and being like, oh, in the moment I didn't even register that that's what you were saying. So like, I'm sorry.
I sort of feel like who really talks to CU3? Like nobody. So, but sure. I was like, I don't think like CU3 has a gender because I don't think it matters to CU3.
Right.
Know?
Sure. Yeah.
CU3 at times gave me like Janet vibes a little bit from The Good Place as well too, which was great. Not even. No.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't think about that. I like that. Awesome. All right. Well,
I have a question.
You have a question? Go for it.
Yeah. My question is like, what did you guys? What new information or what surprise did you have in like rewatching stuff? Because I know a lot of times you missed stuff in the moment, or for you guys, a lot of times you weren't in the room. Like, what revelation hit you in rewatching?
That they were looking for people taking off their shirts in episode 1. Like because we as a player we see that later in the game as like, hey, they're looking for people who have these weird body parts, and like even later we all take off our shirts and we're like, are we like, you know, these people? And watching the episode back with the audience, I literally was sitting there with my laptop and I just like stood up and was like, whoa, like that was something that we could have, like, I had no idea. And you even told us afterwards, it just like meant nothing the first time I heard it. You know what I mean? And then watching it again was like, oh, I see.
Huh. Yeah, that's a hard question.
Well, even in that moment too, like when he had me do that, I'm just like, oh, he's checking to see if there's like weapons on me or something. I mean, because I had a machete. I had a freaking machete, guys, and I lost it because it tossed it back, you know, into the room. But I'm just like, oh, they want to see if there's like anything else on there. Yeah, and then finally like connecting those dots with it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, what was really interesting was I knew what was going on. I knew the overarching like fact that we're not in a real world. This was a digital world. I knew that. So coming from that perspective, I was like, but how the hell are we going to get from here to here? Like, I had no idea. So it was really interesting, especially at the beginning. Like, okay, we're going after this guy 3, we're doing this stuff. Like, what does this have to do? You know, where's this going to, like, lead? So it was really cool to kind of start to see the elements of, like, okay. And also, Philip and I, like, will get together early on, but, you know, before we're even anywhere near producing something like this, and like kind of talk about ideas, and we kind of do that here and there, and Philip has mentioned various different ideas for things over like that time period, so it's kind of cool to go and be like, oh, okay, I see you used that piece and this piece, and it's fun. I enjoy that. Any other thoughts? No? Good? Okay. I think, unless anyone else has another question that you're dying to ask, I think that now... Oh, who has a question?
Stardrew in the comments.
Oh, did I miss it? Stardrew. A little curious if how many aliens is on the Horror Space Station. Well, y'all didn't see any aliens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as you know, there aren't any aliens on there. I mean...
And you wouldn't tell us even if there were.
That's true.
So,
I said it was like Aliens, except sort of like Aliens meets Terminator, because there was the automaton, which are like Terminators.
I'm not saying there's no aliens.
They were terrifying, and I still see them in my nightmares.
They are very terrifying. You know what? There's a... Oh man, do I have the book nearby? Because there's a picture of them. I don't have it right here.
I'll find it, because... It's,
well, actually, let's see. No, because it's in Hell on Earth.
Oh.
So never mind. But and I don't have a physical version of that. But yeah. So now it is time to let you all know what the next season is going to be. I feel like this one maybe is a little obvious here, but let's just give it a drum roll anyway. Drum roll. It is going to be Harbingers, Hell on Earth. That's right, we are going to actually play in the setting with the full knowledge of that setting this next season, which is going to be cool because that's going to allow these guys, like, so I don't know that you all, any of you have played in a Savage World setting that you are aware of that does have essentially archetypes. Deadlands does have some really cool archetypes you can play with, so maybe you'll see some of those this time. And I mean, technically you've already seen some of those archetypes, they just didn't know that they were playing them, which is a witch. But, yeah, there are even rules that govern those witches that you all still don't know about.
And there was that corruption thing, so as a player, we were just told, like, Archie had all those redacted pieces, and there was just, like, one that was, like, corruption. If you mess up spells, this does something. And I was like, what does this mean? So, okay.
Yeah, definitely. If you all don't know about Deadlands Hell on Earth, Deadlands is a setting, was really one of the original settings for Savage Worlds. It was a thing, and then Savage Worlds became a thing, and it was Deadlands and Savage Worlds. So it has its own rich history. It's an alternate history America. Deadlands Reloaded is well, now it's been updated, so it's Deadlands Weird West is the Western version of it. It's sort of like Cthulhu-ish, like it's really like dark horror in this Western, supernatural horror in this Western world. It has a really fascinating story. It has a lot of really cool stuff. Hell on Earth is the apocalyptic future of what's happened after the apocalypse with Deadlands. And I'm not going to say too much here because my players don't really know a whole lot about all of that, and I want to kind of allow them to discover it through play to a degree. But yeah, there's a lot of Deadlands settings, including Lost Colony, which takes place on another planet. There's Deadlands Noir, which you can actually see Todd Moonbounce over on his channel playing right now, and I don't know, maybe you'll see a familiar face there at some point. And then there's also, well, they're working on Dark Ages, which I'm very excited about, which is going to be medieval. Yeah, because with the update to Adventure Edition, the whole world got revamped a little bit and things have changed from Deluxe, which was the previous edition. So anyway, lots of cool things. Yes. But thank you all. I just want to say thank you all for being here. Seriously, this has been a whole thing for me especially, but for all of us, just coming and doing this on Gone Rogue. This is my first completely self-produced project this season, and it happened and it's here and it's like completed, and I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Hey, and to you all too. But I want to thank the crew. We had Rick Bear, who was our director of photography, and Jordan was behind the scenes. Jordan Caves-Callarman to help us out. Zach Heidi did lovely music for us, and always Andrew Max Levy does great pictures. Also, thank you to my wonderful cast. and for all the great stuff they do, and for Philip to GM this whole crazy thing. I mean, I basically just like tossed Philip into this, and I was like, "Ha, figure it out, bye." So and he did. So yeah, seriously, I appreciate it, and there will be the next season. Stay tuned, like I said, to our social media if you aren't following us already. At Gone Rogue Int and at Harbingers RPG on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We will be releasing outtakes and other things that will come along down the road, and then eventually, one of these days, we will get to Chapter 3, Hell on Earth. So real quick, yeah, I know, right? I'm excited. Real quick, everybody go around and just tell us who you are, where they can find you, if there's anything that's coming up that you want to talk about. Yeah, and let's start with Diana.
Hello, I am Diana Restrepo. You can find me on the socials at DianaRest3. Coming up, we have on Mondays, Norse Founder Channel, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, our new show.
Warpaint.
Thank you, brain fart. Yeah, so it's like Kaiju World and mechs, and we're really excited for it. So that's going to be our first show this Monday. And I think... Oh, we have... Sorry. Meghan and I will be doing on Friday nights, 6 p.m. on Ladies of D&D channel. We're going to do... wow, I'm having brain farts.
Ladies of the Lake!
Thank you! Ladies of the Lake! Where we play 80s rock stars who are badasses and
already got their hair.
So... yes, you do have good
ready.
hair.
Yeah, that
Love
starts
it.
next Friday. Next Friday,
Yeah.
6 p.m.
Yeah, so come watch us.
Yeah, sweet, thank you. Adam?
Yeah, hi, I'm Adam Kahn. You're totally unassuming cat guy. You can find me at the socials at Azerold1. And yeah, like Diana said, Warpaint is actually a game that Eric Frankhouse, who runs all our stuff over on the Shiny channel, it's the Cypher system. And it's his own world. We're all basically in mechs fighting giant kaiju, so very Pacific Rim meets like Ghost in a Shell type of feel to it, with a lot of like other aspects of mechs and anime as well too, which is exciting. And then we got some stuff. We don't have quite dates yet, but we had a couple announcements for the DAT network as well too. Phantom is going to be coming back soon, and then we're also going to be doing Heroic Endeavors as well, which we are paired up. I think we said who we're going to be doing it with. I don't actually remember, but yeah, Heroic Endeavors, which we did in 2020, is also going to be coming back over to the channel as well too. And we've got some hopefully other stuff in the works as well that's going to be happening. I'm excited about it.
Sweet, awesome. Randy?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Randy Alvarenga. You can follow me on Twitter at Rollerraja. That's ROLLERRAJA. I'm doing a lot of stuff on Wednesdays. Is Edge of Legend over on Nat 20 Productions, which is a Pathfinder 2e game. We will be starting back with Scarlet Citadel, which is a D&D game for that system over on Band of Badgers sometime soon, but there's a brief pause on that because they're actually working on a project with Paizo that I will be working a part of. So I'm excited for that. It's a short run. If you follow me on Twitter, you can find out more about that. And then Call of Cthulhu is another short run that will be starting next week on Tuesdays, I believe. Yes, Tuesdays over on 12-Sided Dice channel. So as you can tell, I have a hard time keeping up. I had to write it down. You can follow all of that very quickly on an image that I will be posting on my Twitter page. So come follow me and be new friends.
Hooray! Awesome.
Yay.
Philip?
You can follow me at Philip J. Rossi. That's Philip with one L and two P's and two S's and 3 I's. Yeah, I don't have any streamed games that I'm playing right now, so I'm just,
Hey,
Hanging out.
you're being
being
a
a
dad.
dad, hanging out, sleeping. It's great. Well,
Those
not
things
really
are
sleeping,
positive.
but the other stuff.
Yeah,
So,
Awesome.
make believe all the time over here.
Awesome. And I'm Meghan Caves. You can find me at Meghan Caves, MEGHANCAVES. That's the best place to keep up with what I'm doing. It's where I keep up with what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing at the time. But right now, let's see if I can remember. Right now, on Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. over at twitch.tv/SavingThrowShow, we are doing some more Savage Worlds. It is Deadlands, so if you want to come see that Western setting, come check that out. And I am playing a witch because I can't avoid it. I just love it. Her name is Crystal Void, and she's a mess. Major Delusion as her hindrance, so check that out. She has a ghost that follows her around. Yeah, that's happening. That's a Learn to Play Savage Worlds. We have 2 more episodes of that on Tuesdays. Friday, we have Ladies of Lake coming up. Come check that out, 6 p.m. And starting July 5th, will be Axion, which is a space opera, steampunk space opera that Cheyenne Wright, who's done a lot of the art for Deadlands, actually, is GMing over at Velour Studios. I'm very, very excited about that one. So, yeah, you have to check that out as well. Anyway, I think that's it. Thank you all again for joining us.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much. If you want to support us here, you can support us at Ko-Fi, so it's ko-fi.com/GoneRogueInt. We'll be back soon with Chapter 3.
Yay!
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Tons of love.